Damn.
Let's
I made
figure
it.
out how awkward we're going to answer this one.
This one I didn't even do anything. I'm like, I think I was just like sitting there. People was like, "Oh, is it lagging? Is it working? What's happening?"
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything for a second. I was like,
Fucking.
what's going on?
So, dude,
Uh,
there you go. iPhone.
yes, we're matching.
Let's see. I
Hopefully
mean,
the
the,
volume's good.
the what I can definitely see right off the bat is that the video is like really good.
Yeah,
Like usually it's just crap.
yeah. Let's just face
Oh
it,
well,
iPhone's more superior than Android.
dude. Yeah, I mean, I never. Well, there was a time that I would say otherwise.
No, I agree.
Well, no. It's as soon as I bought my iPhone 10, um, which I use as a testing device for stuff. um, and as soon as I held that thing in my hands, I was like, yeah, that's fucking, it's quality, Like
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's why those idiots pay $1,500 for an iPhone.
every year.
No, no, I feel the hype. I understand the hype. Makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna be eating some stuff while we talk. I don't know.
That's
It's
fine.
like
I mean, I've got some chocolate here as well. I was going to dig in.
no,
Really.
no, it's like I don't know. Um, it's like ever since I moved here, like 10 years ago, year by year, my head is becoming more susceptible to weather changes. So it's like my head is like a huge barometer right now.
Yeah,
So
bad weather's
I'm
coming.
sensing the storm.
You know, you're definitely getting old if I can feel the weather in my bones.
Dude, if that was the case, I don't mind to feel the weather in my bones, but just not on that bone. Like that bone can stay out of it.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I suppose. What a fucking week. I guess weekend.
Yeah, yeah. It's been rad.
It's been a strange thing um, that has happened this week. Wait, how do I mute? I just want to mute this.
It's always a lot of things happening.
There we go.
I mean, there's so much lo-fi tea to share. It's insane.
Well, there was one main thing that I'm
That
sure
we're going to be
everyone's
talking
kind of
about
hit.
today.
I don't want to talk too much about it because I kind of feel like I've said too much.
Well,
And as text chat, I could always just be like, "Oh, I got hacked." But with this, whatever I say,
yeah,
so I've got to
they're
make sure I make
targeting
use
me.
of the word allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for fuck's sake, I don't know why I'm like struggling with this. All right, so I guess let's touch on the subject of Chilled Cat, the
Let's go.
main name in lo-fi
Let's
tea
just
this
dive
week.
right into it.
Yeah. So as some of you may or may not have seen, me and Lamar Azul went on a bit of a rampage on
Me and the boys.
Twitter, maybe Instagram as well if you saw it. Basically, we both have had very negative experiences with Sir Chilled Cat, and we kind of decided, Mike decided to just post stories to see if anyone else had negative experiences, and turns out there was a lot. Which, not to sound thingy, but like I've been saying shit like this for months, for absolute since it happened last year. I've been telling everyone that would listen that Chill Cat's a piece of shit, allegedly, and then Mike comes out swinging, and everyone's like, "Oh yes, this happened to me too." And I'm like, "For fuck's sake! I've been saying this for like months, like years."
Yeah.
But long story short, there was a moment. Well, not a lot of people know this, but when Lo-Fi Losers began, it was Raven Rapid, and it was just a collective of like producers that we would occasionally put out like a little mixtape on on SoundCloud, and it wouldn't really go any further than that.
Yeah.
It was just we'd all just come together, put some tracks in, and then that would be it. You know, it was nothing really. There was nothing sinister behind it. There was no intent to make it bigger than it was. There was no drive to make it this huge brand or collective or whatever.
Yeah.
And then probably about 6 months after that first time, at least I got involved with them, because I think I jumped on their second mixtape. So when they started doing the third, and I think the fourth one was when they were like, yeah, let's get this onto Spotify. That was when Chilled Cat had come along, and I don't know the ins and outs of the behind the scenes stuff, but it very much kind of felt like he came along and just kind of pushed his own thing onto it and was like, yeah, let's get it onto Spotify. Let's turn it into a label, even though there was never any express announcement that this was the way that it was going. But at that point, I was relatively newish on the scene, and I was like, cool, I want to get these tracks on Spotify because, I'd made them. I want people to hear them, and I'm not a big SoundCloud user. I think SoundCloud's a bit trash. So, on goes a few months. The tracks ended up going on Spotify, and that was a rigmarole in itself as well. And this probably was a bit of foreshadowing, in that they got my artist name wrong, not once, not twice, but 3 times. It took me going back and forth with Mike and with Chillcat like 3 or 4 times. Like, they did Lazyboyloops with spaces in between the words. They then decided to then change it to my real name.
Oh,
which
that's cool.
I guess would have been well. So when I began producing, I did it under my real name. So I was like Aaron Richardson everywhere, which isn't really very catchy. And I just thought, let's make it into a bit more, because I had Lazyboyloops as my Instagram thing. I had something else as my Twitter, and I was like, it's time to just get my brand in, cohesive space so everybody knows, where to find me, blah blah blah. So this Lazyboyloops thing, it was newish, but not drastically. So everyone knew that was what I was going by. So they'd already got my name wrong like 3 times. Eventually, it lined up. And that was annoying. And then probably about 2 or 3 months later, once all of these tracks had been released on Spotify, we started seeing spikes in our Spotify for artists, mostly of plays and stuff. And at that point, we didn't really think much of it, until one artist decided to kind of kick up a fuss and was like, nah, this ain't right, and then just left. So there was a lot of people being like, oh, why did this person leave? And then the result of that was, I was testing ads, and this person didn't like that I was testing ads and found it thingy. And there was kind of, at that point, I'd been put on like the admin team of Lo-Fi Losers, and it was very much I just came along and was like, look, if you're going to start putting money into ads, you need to be a bit more transparent to everyone so they know that that's what's happening. So when there are inevitable spikes, everyone's aware that this is why. So then, I guess a couple months later, we start seeing spikes on Spotify again, except it goes beyond just plays. It ends up being plays, follows, saves, playlist ads. And I think the thing that kind of was a massive red flag for me was that this was all being done on our compilation tracks. Like, that makes no sense why someone would be putting this much into a compilation track, because we're all pretty much aware that a lot of people just throw away tracks onto compilations. There's no, someone says, oh, we're doing a winter comp, everyone would be like, oh yeah, here's just a throwaway track, whatever. And a lot of people were in that camp as well with these ones. So it just kind of felt weird that all these big, like, massive spikes were happening on compilation tracks, especially when they were all being added to like 200-300 playlists. So, I did what anyone with undiagnosed ADHD would do, is I dove deep, and I looked absolutely in every corner possible. Like, I just hyper-focused on trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. We were getting 300 and something plays each from this, one of Chillcat's playlists, from a city in Texas called Mount Calm, which, if you do a quick Google, you'll find that Mount Calm has a population of 300.
300 people. So, like, they were really into
They were really digging our compilation tracks, right?
Whole town was like going
Yeah.
crazy there.
So that's like that was sketch in itself, and then it kind of it spiraled into like a spike in followers. I think within 3 or 4 days, because I had two
Mhm.
compilation tracks on their Spotify.
Yeah.
I ended up with about 900 followers in the space of like 3 days,
Oh, cool.
as did a lot of other people. And that's when I was like, okay, no, there's something not right here. I
Yeah.
kicked up a fuss in the group chat. Chillcat didn't really care to weigh in. He just said that he was being targeted, which, as I've said on my Twitter, I find it kind of difficult to think that someone would put that level of effort into targeting not only a person, but then 20 to 30 artists that are on this
Yeah.
playlist. That makes
Yeah.
no sense to me. Like, no one would, because if you are going to be malicious towards someone on Spotify, and it's entirely possible to do that,
Yes.
it's still going to cost you money.
Yeah. But
And it's
then
like,
again, like you said, like why would you target
yeah, exactly.
the
And
people you target? So
as I've made quite clear on like Twitter and stuff, at the time, I wouldn't necessarily say that Chillcat was a formidable label slash persona or whatever your brand, I guess.
yeah.
And I struggle to see how or why someone would target that, like genuinely,
Mm.
in all seriousness.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. You don't see people like Chill Select. They've been going along for a fucking long time. They've got some
Yeah.
significant numbers. They're pretty big in the scene, I guess. That has never
Yeah.
happened. Even you yourself, everyone knows who Pueblo Vista is. I've
Exactly.
never
Yeah.
heard you say that anything like this is happening. If someone's going to be targeting someone with like unnatural playlist streams or
Yeah.
with follows and stuff, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that to Chill Cat. They're going to do that to
No.
someone that it could actually do some harm to.
Exactly.
So
Somebody
yeah,
who
I kind
has
of
something to lose from the whole ordeal, not just yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I kicked up a fuss in this group chat. There were some people that kind of, I guess, in a way, stood by me, but then there were others that were just like, "Oh, you've got too much time on your hands. Like, get a life." So I just was like, "I bid you adieu," fucked off. And since then, I've just been an advocate saying that Chillcat's a shithead. And roll on today, there seems to be a lot of other people that are saying the same thing.
They think the same thing, yeah. Yeah.
But just like the Lo-Fi girl situation, people aren't going to care. People don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure me and Mike can attest that we both had a fair number of producers come to us saying, "Oh, yeah. I've read this. I'm really concerned. Like, what should I do?"
Mm.
And then I've also had producers that come along being like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And then kind of you can see with the things that they're saying to you that in their head they're trying to figure out a way of justifying staying with,
yes,
like keeping their track with them. Like, oh, maybe I'll just see after he's pitched a track, or maybe I'll just leave it and see how it gets on. And
yeah.
it's like you're coming to me saying, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "Pull it," and they're just like, "Yeah, but
I don't know."
I mean, obviously he's got a contract, a contract that says things that makes it difficult for people to get out of. But
could be, but as we all know, contracts can be broken. It's nothing. Yeah. It's not.
Well, this is moves on to the next step, isn't it? Like, we've all kicked up a fuss now. We've all said our piece, and it's out in the universe. It's up to him.
Yeah.
To then, what's his next move as a label owner for when those artists come along and say, "Yeah, I don't want my track with you anymore." Because if he's going to kick up a fuss and be like, "Well, actually, our contract says that I need this for X amount of years," well, then you're a piece of shit, and you're making it obvious that that's what.
I think the best reaction that Rohan that's his real name. I don't call him Chillcat. I think it's a little bit stupid. And any role,
doing it for context.
Yeah, and any Rohan can do in that aspect. I think it's just like you can just tell the truth, and I mean it's pretty obvious that again allegedly you weren't really being targeted. It's really how should I say? It reminds me the whole it's a prank, bro. Thing, like after the whole pranking on YouTube or whatever had become a little bit over the top. I mean, we even see it now. Even people continue now. There's been like people died over that shit because they tried to
Yeah.
prank somebody. They transformed it to a social experiment. So
Yeah, that's probably the worst excuse.
yeah, exactly. So I find it the direction of, oh, I'm being targeted, or oh, somebody's like whatever.
Yeah.
A bit falls into the same bucket with me, like, oh, you've been doing pranks, and then you're saying, oh, it's a social experiment. Because
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, like you said in the beginning, I don't think that anybody would like to socially experiment with you, man. Like it's it's you're not a big deal. I
Yeah.
mean, none of us are at the end of the day, but
Well, no.
in the whole, at that specific point in time in the lo-fi scheme of things, lo-fi losers wasn't a thing, like wasn't really a thing. I mean, I had put out a track on a compilation. I think it was like Lo-Fi Losers 4, actually. I
Yeah.
was I was highly intrigued by the fact that I like the artwork actually a
Hmm.
lot. And I started, this is like, it was like the first months that I was talking to Michael Lamar Azul. So, we were like shooting the shit, and I was like, oh, fuck it, maybe I'll throw in a track in. It looks cool. I mean, I wasn't really producing stuff either. So it was like, yeah, it's, how should I say? Lo-Fi Losers wasn't really out there. So, I might as well throw a track in. Nobody's gonna hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's fine. So it's not a big problem. Um, but yeah, so I just found the whole thing because it didn't affect me too much or at
Okay, that's
all, I
good.
would say. But I've definitely seen, I heard about the spikes from Michael before, from a couple of other guys, and then it just like you basically went a little bit deep with it. And then the first place that I went was Chart Metric.
Yeah.
I think I'm really happy that we see more and more people starting to use it now, which is great, really. And I just went in there, and I noticed this interesting deviations in terms of playlist following and stuff.
Yeah.
Going from, jumping like 10K overnight and shit like that, which um, for the, to also uh, talk about, uh, also to be the devil's advocate, Chartmetric is not really the super updated thing. There has been times with me, because I'm also monitoring our stuff through there,
Hmm.
that, they might miss a day or two or something. However, usually after a couple of days, like everything is there. The data is there, because it's like it's based on the APIs
Yeah.
of all these streaming platforms, and since most of these are public. I mean, I'm not going to explain what an API is. I guess if anybody's interested, they can Google it. Let's just say that the Spotify API has a lot more, provides a lot more data points than the Apple Music
Yeah.
API. So that's my 2 cents, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take, I guess, like an internet whiz to look
Yeah, yeah.
deep into specific numbers, whether
What's
that's
happening?
Spotify or whether that's Instagram. There's a lot of unnatural activity,
Yeah.
and the other website that we found that I've got all the screenshots for.
Mm.
There was some massive heavy spikes on his playlists
Yeah.
within, I think, around about April, July last year, which shot
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
maybe 15, 20K. But then a few months later, when Spotify did that purge of bots,
Yes.
it's dropped straight back down.
Yeah.
Now, I think one thing I want to say is that I know I've been very much kind of like, crusading and just being like, fuck this guy. But I think it's good for me to point, like, I guess to kind of clear the air and say, like, I'm not necessarily telling you what to do. I'm just
Yeah.
providing information for you guys to judge for yourselves.
Yeah.
And as well, like, you know, those stats that kind of show those big spikes last year, and even Submit Hub, they come along and was just like, yeah, no, we're not
Yeah,
seeing anything unnatural. Yeah, it
but they
might
had
not be
only
happening now, and he
yeah
might not
they
be doing
only
it.
to sorry to interrupt though, but for that because Submit had jumped into that Twitter thread
Yeah,
basically, they were only sharing screenshots from playlist data that covered this year or like was
yeah,
like 2020 was 2021 and wasn't 2020. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, absolutely.
we were talking about completely different periods of time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but it was also, I think it was relating to a screenshot that I took of this month of John
exactly,
Metric, where it shows,
exactly.
you know, a kind of smallish spike. But
Yeah,
um, either way, yes, he might not be doing it now. He might be. He can lie until he's blue in the face that he's never botted his playlists and
yeah, yeah.
he's not botting playlists. Blah blah blah. The
Good
thing
for
that
him.
I'm kind of highlighting is that at some point he has, and the data is very much showing that across all
Yeah,
of these playlists,
yeah,
across multiple platforms that follow
yes,
these statistics.
yeah.
That in itself is just, you know, he's kind of paid
Sus.
his way to the top without
It's quite
actually,
sus. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's how should I say? Again, like um, me seeing it from the higher point
mm-hmm.
in the sense of like I'm bigger than you fuckers.
Fuck off.
For how long? I don't know. It's like I wouldn't say he reached up, but he definitely had like some sort of like a goal he wanted to reach. I always like had the experience of and I've seen it with other people as well. Like people are trying too hard to kind of like prove themselves or whatever. Especially him. Um, he just came across like as if he's trying to portray some sort of like person that he isn't. I mean, I would not call him fake, but he was trying too hard to impress
Mm-hmm.
or something. And as you said before, what I also want to sorry, I'm being a bit slow today, but
That's
you know,
right.
it will
You've got
get
the
it will
weather
get
in
to
your
me.
head.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it's the reason why we're sitting here, we're talking or whatever. It's not that we don't wanna throw shade to anyone. It's just like we like sharing facts and we like
Mm-hmm.
talking about shit and we're like speaking up about stuff. Because like as you said earlier, like nobody else really does, or usually people are gonna brush things off after a week and it's just gonna become yesterday's jam.
Yeah, exactly.
so so but fuck it. At the end of the day, I think our goal here, also for like for the viewers to know, is not to cancel people. We're far from it. I mean, we're actively trying to cancel ourselves,
Yeah,
but this is
100%.
not really happening. I mean, we're going, 5 podcasts wrong. Nothing's happening. Um, and it's just like we try to create awareness in whatever the fuck anybody wants to do. Like we share our personal experiences, which is mainly the whole show or the whole podcast is evolving around that
Yeah.
basically, and our hot takes or our takes on things, and try to sprinkle a dash of advice on that stuff or like some comical stuff that might happen or anecdotal experiences like shit like that. So
Yeah.
Rohan, Smohan, chilled cat, chilled panda, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, it's okay. It's like it's not really cool doing that kind of stuff,
No.
you know. I mean, I probably I don't know if I shared it with you, but I've definitely spoken out about it. Like I've done shit like that when with long before like Pueblo Vista whatever came along. I back then the whole Spotify promotion was like more legit than fake. So
Yeah.
I had this other like profile with some dead deep house stuff, and I was like, I want to understand what platform actually offers more stuff to
Yeah.
me. I tried things like, for example, SoundPlate, which is a pretty legit service, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't fuck things up. I tried ToneDen, and then there's like as soon as you get into this whole like Google searching thing, then you start getting bombarded with fucking advertisements
Ads.
about shit.
Yeah.
And you know, some of them look more professional than others. So you're like, I might as well try that. I recently did one called the Sound Campaigns, because I was just like, I mean, first of all, I was frustrated
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff. Secondly, I was like, fuck it, I might as well try it. You know, it's not that like I'm gonna throw like and I threw it on a track with that was already going well. It was a track by Dakota Sounds. It's in our summer compilation. It's called 500 Days, and he had already been picked up by Lofi Beats, I think, or was it like a Jeezy Vibes? All hail Universal Music, you know.
Team of experts.
Yeah. Allegedly. And you know, I was like, you know, I might throw it, check this one out for some reason.
Yeah.
See if it would add any more value in the sense of it's already like a high grossing track. So you as a curator, I mean, we all know it's good for you to add popular tracks on your playlist. Like it
Yeah.
helps the algorithm. I'm not saying that if you add the whole discography of Adele, for example, this will, you know, benefit you. But one more track that has like, I don't know, based on the chart metric has like a 30 to 40 popularity is not bad.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of people who just basically dissed the track. Like said, nah, it's not good for me. Like it felt like a more expensive submit hub, basically.
Yeah.
Nothing else. But yeah, you know, shit like that. There's always like I also tried like for like what I said for my previous profile. I found like one of these weird professional looking services that and this one in particular said, you know, they would provide 5,000 streams and a couple of hundred saves and what else, and pitch it to playlists and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't pitch it to any playlist, but they just send the bots to do all that stuff to you. And the funny thing is like, it just happened like within, I don't know, I would say 30, 35 minutes after purchase. It's like,
yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. But I think that's the point, isn't it? Like, we've all looked at these services and considered whether they are actually genuine, whether they're actually worth it. You know, like you said, there's ads everywhere that are, you know, shouting from the rooftops that these can provide genuine streams. You know, just go to Fiverr, put in Spotify, and you can find level 2 sellers that
exactly.
Are
and it's a lot cheaper as well, and it's a lot cheaper too.
Now, so yeah, on that, I would get that, you know, back then Rohan was starting out and was maybe experimenting with certain services, and you know, we kind of got pulled into that, whether intentionally or incidentally. Though I would have still been as pissed as I am today if he was to come clean and said, yeah, I did some experiments, I purchased some bots, I wanted to see what the options were. I guess I'd be over it by now. I'd still be annoyed, but I'd be over it. And it's like, okay, yeah, you fucked up, pissed that you took me with you. Like, never asked for that, but you know, learn from your mistakes. But to kind of double down that he was being targeted, or you know, I have never done this to any of my platforms, or whatever he's saying now. You know, his apology was very specifically worded in a way that, for me personally, I found that it showed more guilt than not guilt for affecting us, but guilt that he'd been caught, that you know, something that he did kind of fucked up, and it's now coming back to bite him in the arse. But you know, I guess you live and you learn, and you know, like you said, we're putting the stuff out there for other people to either learn from those mistakes, or you know, to be able to say, oh, okay, this person had this bad experience.
Exactly.
Because this is what we all should be doing anyway. We should be talking with each other and learning from each other's experiences rather than kind of just blindly going in yourself and then complaining when nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, why didn't anyone tell me that this person was trash? It's.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be more of that, and I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
And this again goes with that whole chasing the monthly listeners thing that
Yeah.
people see are scared to lose that
Number.
lose that paycheck.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if that's the way that you're thinking on a daily basis, then maybe getting into music really isn't the right path for you.
Yeah.
Numbers are great, but as you can quickly learn, they come and go quicker than a stinky fart.
Nice
they do.
one.
You can be sitting on a couple of 100,000 monthly listeners, and then you get dropped by a specific playlist, and then you're back to nothing.
Yeah. I would have made my punchline more sinister than that, but what I was thinking is that there's always like a certain number of days that you got left anyway, so it's not just fucking there. But yeah, it's. I guess we will only find out everyone in their own ways, probably silently as well, in the next 20 years, let's say, or something like that, where probably we're not going to be having a podcast. Maybe, it's going to be some, my kid is going to be in his 20s and shit like that. And I'll be like, oh, I remember that Sunday morning in October 2021. We're talking about that shit with Aaron. And then casually shoot you a message like, you remember, you twat? I was like, yeah, I told you so.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
No, if I leave the music scene, I'm probably just going to burn every bridge I ever make anyway. That's just what I do.
Oh, well, I mean, I think we will just casually withdraw from the limelight. Basically, that's what's going to happen.
We're just going to ghost producing shit for Firefly.
Yeah, exactly. Ghost produce everything. Yeah. No, but at the end of the day, I think it's like we just need to basically what we want to do is just create more awareness and warn people of bad players, basically. That might affect you negatively in time, because the algorithm, or whatever that algorithm is doing, you don't really see the effects. I mean, it's machine learning at the end of the day. Like, it's the algorithm is nothing crazy. It's like a program that's been put together to learn from the behavior or the numbers that you pull or the sources of the numbers. Like, there's so many different parameters to what defines a popularity or the longevity of you as an artist in a platform. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people who, like you and me, who are like really nerdy, get really nerdy about it. And that's the main source of our frustration, I guess, and anxiety without that shit, because we just get too nerdy on this stuff. And there's also like the other side of the spectrum where people just don't give a fuck at all. However, I mean, we're doing this for the people who actually do give some sort of fuck. And we just want to warn people about bad players, and that you shouldn't just because a label or any label has like numbers and they can offer you something, people shouldn't just blindly say yes. Like, and I see it with sometimes people who submit stuff to me, like, just because Pueblo is Pueblo, they're like, oh fuck yeah, let's go, man. Like, yeah. I do appreciate the enthusiasm and the level of trust that somebody shows me, but in the back of my mind, I would expect some sort of question, somebody asking me something, so I can be like, oh, I have this amazing piece of document here I can send you, which, by the way, I'm working on a new one now, because you know why. And there's been a couple of people who actually I had accepted their tracks for the winter compilation, because the winter compilation is a thing, guys. It will happen no matter what. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
just call myself Pablo Vista.
Pablo
Pablo Vista
Bar.
presents Winter in Brazil. um, anyway, and there's been a couple of people like that. Well, it's more than a couple that send me this stuff, and then I would tell them like, "Oh, let me know if you're interested, and then I can send you some more information." And I never did. So I feel stupid. Hashtag worst label ever, as always.
Yeah.
But yeah, like uh, we're like the three. We're like the Musketeers in a way, like a
Yeah.
mixture of Musketeers and Lo-Fi Robin Hood or whatever the fuck. I mean, we're not Lo-Fi Robin Hood because we're not really robbing people money and giving them to the poor lo-fi producers. Because fuck you, I'm gonna keep my lo-fi money. I don't care.
Yeah.
So,
I think, yeah, no, you're spot on there. Like when submitting stuff to labels, like I've had some that have just been like, here's a track and then it's a link, and it's almost like, look, just ask questions. Like
yeah,
you don't, like, you're coming in excited and that's great, but like it'd be much better for us to understand what you are looking for if you come along with some questions as well.
exactly.
So it's like, hey, we'd love to release with you. What sort of, if you dig this track, what sort of thing can you help me with? Blah,
Yes.
blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I do as much as I can to make that information readily available on our website. But I know I 100% know that nobody reads anything when it comes to submitting stuff.
Sadly.
But yeah, ask questions and just don't be shy about it, because at the end of the day, it's your music and you want the best for it, as do we. Yeah. But if we feel like we can't do anything with it, we're not just going to release it for the sake of releasing it because you seem excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
like, people should be inquisitive, basically.
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
we're saying. You should be inquisitive, whether you're an artist or a label. I think for us is from the label perspective, because I'm pretty sure people would like to know that as well, is more important for me to be inquisitive as well. Like, it's, if you don't ask any questions, I mean, I'm gonna do my research on you. Some dude calls himself, my name is Aaron Richardson, and I'm going by the nickname Lazyboyloops, and I'm 15 years old and I make music. Shit, here's my jam. I'm gonna fucking creep up on your socials and see what you do.
Yeah.
Are there any homophobic tweets from 5 years ago? Shit like that. Nah, check the numbers and see what's happening. Who else who you released with, whatever. Then I will definitely ask, because I've learned that from I've learned. My brain is like farting today continuously. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I've learned the hard way, basically, to ask questions, and the most popular one that I would ask is like, what are your expectations? And I think I see somebody in the live, I don't know if you see it, the Bogart guys, that, recently they hit me up for a release, and I explained them the situation and what's happening and how it's going to go down. But, the way they presented it to me is like, oh, we spent a lot of time on this album and spend a lot of money and we want to work with you and blah blah. So when I read an email like that, I'm happy, because it's not just, hey Paul, this is my new track, boom, that's that, from somebody that I haven't worked so much in the past with. And then I asked them back, like, so what are your expectations, like, in terms of, like, is it streams, is it money, is it, like, to make sure that how much money did you spend on producing that record? Like, I need to know, because I can tell you if I can live up to your expectations or not. So similarly, just because a label is, unless this label, and I will try to dissect that as well as quickly as I can, unless that label is chill hop music or cowgirl or college music or
chill beats,
you cunt, or steezy as fuck, or what's the other one? Oh man, bootleg boy. Like, people that have some credibility and they're really high up there. I understand not being inquisitive, even though you should be a little bit.
Yeah.
However, people see the big playlists or whatever and like, oh, fuck it, that's it. Bang, bang, cash, money, that's it. So
Yeah.
unless it's like one of these labels or one of these entities, let's say, I would understand the lack of inquisition.
But even then, I'd say the larger the label, even more so, because it's like, look, if I put hundreds of dollars into this album,
this is what I was getting at. Like, you should be even more inquisitive in the sense of like, and I mean, we talked about the Lofi elevators like a lot in the sense of, it's good up there. It's really good, pushing up those numbers and everything like that. However, unless you keep releasing with these guys, or let's say two out of only two from them, then you try to release something on your own, you're going to see a massive difference. And it's not just you who's going to see the massive difference, it's also the algorithm who's going to notice that. And because there's like so much weight on Spotify and so much push on Spotify, you're going to see, the results of that drop are going to be more evident on that platform than any other platform. Because, I mean, I do like the fact that nobody else is really sharing numbers other than the two big guys. Like, why isn't there like a Deezer for artists? Why isn't there like a Deezer for artists?
Yeah.
What?
There's an Amazon one, there's a Deezer one. The only ones that don't is Tidal and like Napster, Pandora, they don't. No, actually Pandora does have one, but you have to be in America to use it. But yeah, no, Deezer does have one, but it's about as basic as Apple Music's one.
I've never seen it. Well,
it's called Creators, that's why.
Okay, you keep talking, I'll make an account really quick.
I think you have to be it took me ages to get access to it. But yeah, no, it's not, I mean, if I'm going to be real, the UI is crap. There's nothing you can really do from within that, especially if you're not seeing any numbers.
You need to request?
Yes, you have to request access. Yeah, I think I completely forgot. But yeah, it's not great. You can see whether you've had plays within, I think it's up to about the same as Spotify, like 2015. But there's not a lot you can do within it other than see whether you're being played or not. And I think you can
too many fields.
You can update your artist information through that as well.
That's actually neat. That's actually neat because I came across a certain distributor who was like, "Oh, we can help you out with Deezer and update your pictures and stuff." I was like, "It must be like some sort of way this could happen in the automatic." But yeah, anyway. I think at the end of the day, what I took from the whole chill cat ordeal to because I guess it's time for the curtain call.
Yeah.
There's no need poking a dead horse. It's yesterday's jam and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
What I understood, especially because you two guys are my friends, like you and Lamar and Michael, is that my take was that you would at least expect some sort of like apology, like, hey, you know what, I'm busted, I did that, I'm sorry. And the more eloquency was coming through from his messages, the more further away this was going from an actual apology. At least like as we saw with Cowgirl the last time with the Asian compilation thing, this was like a straight up fuck you. Which, I take that, but at least it was like a very straightforward answer, like, oh, you know what, fuck you, we're not apologizing.
Yeah, 100%.
So you could have either done this, say fuck you, that's it. You could have just, did nothing at all, just stay silent.
Yeah.
But I guess if you feel like the urge of talking, like you could just say, just come clean, man. It's like nobody's going to care because at the end of the day, it's like what we said from the beginning. Like It's yesterday's jam, mate. Nobody
Yeah.
gives a toss about that shit.
Oh God.
So yeah.
Yeah, but instead he took this kind of high horse,
Yeah, high
moral
horse
high
thing.
ground, like
Yeah, whatever.
fucking stance of like, well, I'm not going to talk shit about you on social media. It's like, okay,
Yeah, okay, right. I mean,
fucking
it's
do,
not that.
man.
Yeah, but there wasn't any slandering happening. It's like you were just showcasing a list of facts that were backed up by more facts. I mean, screenshots are not slander.
No,
Like, this is what is being recorded. Is
they
this
almost
true
say
or
we
not?
had receipts.
Yeah, exactly. Like facts. It's facts.
Yeah,
You coming and say, "Oh, I don't know, whatever." Like, like it's not somebody said came to you like some private messages and stuff. Oh, look, he said the F word. He said the whatever word,
yeah,
or he did this or he did that, or trying to, uh, pin something on you that it's not. Like nobody says came up and said, "Oh, fuck this guy," like blah blah blah. I mean, I would understand maybe, the amount of frustration wouldn't be that bad in the sense of like, for example, uh, Raven hasn't, come out like that, and he was
yeah.
like, it was his fucking baby until you joined. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And then what I texted you the other day, it seems like he got usurped basically. Like
Yeah,
this is exactly what happened. Uh, but yeah, I mean, again, like because I do know a little bit of that part of the story is like, somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, know what? I'm gonna help you out, and you can just chill, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and it's fine." And you trust that other person
yeah,
enough, you be like, okay, that's the thing. Like you can focus on that stuff, and then I can focus doing whatever I'm doing, which I think in Raven's part was, maybe finding talent or shit like that, or like focusing
yeah,
on his own music.
yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, yeah. And not even him came out and said, "Oh, you know what? Fuck you," and blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, he has been, I think, until now, and kudos to him, being very polite about it. I think,
Yeah.
or nice about it. I don't know. I don't know these Aussies, man. These Aussies are fucking crazy.
I guess, like, to summarize though, like, if you guys ever have plans to release with that, with chilled cat music, then I would just look at the facts. I would talk to people, and yeah, the stuff's there if you want to look for it. If you don't, if you just want to put your blinkers on and just soldier ahead, you do you. That's fine by me. Just don't be having a little cry when he fucks up your entire career.
Exactly, exactly. Just be inquisitive, think things through, and
Mm-hmm.
that's that. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't, because I have to get it off my chest as well. As like, I wouldn't work with a person that calls himself Chill Cat. It's, I
Just
think,
that stance alone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In the sense of like, I see it from the branding perspective, from the business perspective. Even if like, if he would had like, numbers like Chilled Cow or Cowgirl or whatever, I might consider it. Pierce is asking. Sorry. No, Chilled Cat he's from Rohan. He's from India, but he resides in Australia at the moment. But Raven Rapid is from Australia. He's
Yeah.
Australian. So yeah, it's like from the branding perspective, no, I wouldn't want to work with him.
No,
Just
agreed. I
just from
mean,
that, like I think it's we talked about, I think, the whole naming stuff, and that every animal or fruit or fucking vegetable has been called something in this
yep,
lo-fi thing. That's like it's either lo-fi or they're chilled. Like
yep.
everybody's chilling. No,
Or lazy now,
no,
apparently.
no. I do not expect that. Accept that anymore. Like that's it. Like it was fun in the beginning, but then you know you're being racist to a lot of animals. Like why isn't there a chilled bat? Why is
Yeah,
everybody
true.
going out after the bears and the cats and the
Fuck
dogs
off.
and whatever? Fuck off. Like birds are animals too.
Yeah.
Birds'
No,
life
I
matters.
think as well, like his little comeback from, once he'd fully fucked over Lo-Fi Losers and they went on hiatus at the end of last year,
Yeah, yeah,
and he came back with his own label, like
yeah.
instantly, his logo is basically just chill beats. His his artwork and promo is
Yeah,
basically just chill beat. Like he's just come back and piggybacked on an already established brand to try and make himself
yeah,
look better and
legit.
more. It's just anyway. I think that's
Yeah,
enough of that because I think I'm
yeah.
gonna
That's not
say
like
something that's
that's
definitely
not.
gonna get me
We don't.
cancelled.
We yeah. We don't have to. We're going into the cancel culture thing or whatever.
But
It's
okay, so
everybody's. It's personal opinions again.
yeah,
We're not suggesting to people to do. People can do whatever the fuck. You can go ahead and fucking release with whoever you want to fucking release. We're just saying that you just need to be more conscious about your choices and more inquisitive with the people that you work. And just because somebody has like a big playlist doesn't
mhm.
mean that that's the deal maker. There's a lot. There's a lot involved. You need to educate yourself. Like,
I think yeah, that's straight up. Not just ask questions, but like look into things. Like look at their artist pages. If they're a label that has a label artist page, have a look and see, how frequent their releases are. If they are constantly farting out compilations, have a look at their single releases or EP releases. How have
yeah,
they performed compared to the compilation
exactly.
releases? Look at there's a website called Is It a Good Playlist? Stick a playlist in that, and it will show you how well
This
um,
playlist behaves.
how good
Yes.
the
Yeah.
playlist
How
is.
active it
And
is. Yes. Yes.
it's actually it is difficult to read into. You have to kind of understand the metrics, but
Yeah.
basically the way that Is It a Good Playlist works is that it analyzes the artists in the playlist and looks at where that playlist is on an artist discovered on, because
Hmm.
whether you know this, I don't know whether everybody is aware of that, but the discovered on section on your artist page works on popularity. So the
Yes.
first playlist is always the one that's driving the most plays to your music. So if
Yes.
you find that a playlist with 50,000 followers is number one on someone's discovered on, and that person has only 150 monthly listeners, and they've been on that playlist because it gives you how many days they've been on the playlist as well. So if
Exactly.
they've been on the playlist for 10 days, they've got 150 monthly listeners. The playlist is number one on their discovered on, and the
Yeah.
playlist has 50K followers.
Yes.
That playlist is only giving like 100 monthly listeners. There's nothing to it.
Yeah.
And one trick I've noticed a couple of curators have started doing is mass updating their playlists every day or every week. So rather than just adding a track on and removing a track, they'll just replace the whole playlist. So it says
With
that
the
the
same.
playlist
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
updated 2 days ago, and every
Yeah.
single track was added 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've noticed a lot of curators have started doing to try and avoid those websites kind of revealing the truth, if we're going to say that.
Yeah. 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 But again, I think this is like for any potential,
Mm-hmm.
playlist curators on the chat or whatever. Like, I don't think this is definitely the way, in the sense of like, especially if you have like a specific amount of tracks that you will update your playlist within your update cycle. For example, I think yours is also like you update yours every couple of weeks, right?
I do mine every Monday.
Every month. Oh, you do the weekly thing, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I personally do it like every 2 weeks, and it's like usually on Friday night or Saturday morning because I get
Mm-hmm.
like a massive like I get a shit ton of submissions usually over the weekend,
Yeah.
and I just want to make sure that on the next updated cycle, like all the stuff that I would be accepting are gonna stay on the playlist for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, just adding stuff on Friday morning and then Friday night, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Which in it itself, it's genius. If you
Yeah.
think about it. It goes, I'm venturing in the lo-fi fruit.
Yeah. Just have you on for a day
But
and not too far.
exactly. Another pro tip that I can show, on top of what you said with the playlist popularity.
Hmm.
So people that know is what I used to check a lot in the past, and this was like a very, I think it still is like a very eye gouging evidence. Uh, the when you're on the, I think this is only available on Spotify, I guess, in the desktop version of the app.
Hmm.
If you go to the about section of the artist where you click and you can see their followers and whatever,
Yeah.
you see the top 5 cities where
Yeah.
they're trending. Uh, when it came to payola or, let's say suspicious playlist activity, you would see stuff like, and I hate it. I hate to say that for my Asian fam. It's been like stuff like Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam. Like we all know, like there's a lot of boating or a lot of farms happen there,
Yeah.
and we also like when it comes to advertisements, to ads, I try to avoid advertising in these countries because even though that I'm pretty sure there's legitimate audience there as
Hmm.
well. Also, India, was recently included in Spotify and stuff. Because of all these boating farms and people want to make their bread, you get a lot of bad players there too.
Yeah.
So you would usually see. I'm not gonna lie. On my top 5 now, Pueblo Vista. Number 1 is Los Angeles. Second city, it's Singapore. But
I
then
think
it's
I'll be
like,
guilty of having the
yeah.
Jakarta.
It's like then I have Sydney, Chicago, and Toronto. So it's not just like if you see Singapore is bad, but if you see like if 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 are there, and you're not, let's say, I don't know, some extremely amazing local artist, then it could definitely be a little bit sus.
Yeah.
I used to check this a lot, and I think this was very very evident a couple of years ago with Chilled Cow. Like if you
Hmm.
would get like a release on Chilled Cow or Cowgirl, like the top streams would come from countries over there.
Yeah.
So it was always like very interesting to see. Now that's not the case anymore.
So
Uh,
an interesting thing, because again, I'm sure you've heard about this as well, but we're like
yeah,
looking into doing like playlist ads or advertising your music.
yeah.
That specific guy that does it on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but I learned a lot about trigger cities.
About what?
Trigger cities.
Trigger cities. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what these are particular sort of cities and locations around the world that Spotify consider them good, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
essentially they help as soon as you get high numbers in these specific cities, they trigger the algorithm. You
yeah,
start getting more plays with your Discover
yeah,
Weekly,
yeah,
radio, blah 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 blah. And I
yeah,
know a lot of these ones that you mentioned, like Singapore, even Jakarta, Indonesia, that was one of the main
yeah.
trigger cities,
That
and
one
that's
too.
why you will see a lot of plays, especially for those curators that take their advertisement seriously. You will
Yeah,
start to see spikes in plays of what are considered trigger cities,
yeah,
and it's very complicated. I don't exactly know how it works. Kind of like with Google's algorithm, because I dig into SEO a lot. There is no solid evidence that any of this actually works.
yeah. No.
But it does kind of explain a lot of why these locations do appear a lot.
Yeah,
That being said, if you start to see a lot of streams from weird, I mean, I know I've mentioned this before, like the whole Mount Calm thing. If you start to
yeah,
see a lot of streams coming from very specific niche locations, then chances are a playlist that you're on is botting.
sussing, it's
Yeah,
sussing somehow.
I mean,
Something's up. Yeah, yeah,
I did fall into one. This is way after like the chill cat thing. I found that there are a lot of groups on Facebook for playlist exchanges, which I thought were just innocent little things like, "Oh, I've got a playlist. Do you want to put a track on
No,
my
it's
playlist?"
actually it's
No,
pretty hardcore shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite cutthroat. And
yeah,
innocently, I was like, "Oh, here's a playlist for new artists. Like,
yeah, yeah,
do you want to put your track on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah." It was free. It didn't cost anything, so I didn't think there
yeah,
was anything sus about it
yeah.
until I started to get 6,000 streams from Thailand from women aged over 60. And I saw this on my stats and I was shitting bricks. I was like, oh, fuck. So I
Let's
managed to
go.
get off this playlist. I
Yeah.
messaged the person and he was like, you need to email this person. It was very like cloak and dagger. It was like, you need to email
Okay.
this, knock twice, say the password. So I emailed and was like, can you just take this track off the playlist? It took them maybe a week to do that. But by
Okay.
that point, my fans also like was rinsed. My artist radio disappeared. Like
Oh shit. Yeah.
I was having a fucking panic. Um, and it took the whole 28-day cycle of this getting wiped out before my fans also like came back.
Oh crap.
So yeah, it's I would definitely say like do you do due diligence before you start
Yes.
throwing your tracks onto playlists and stuff. Look into them, see
Yes.
how other tracks are performing. If
Yeah.
you are familiar with the people that are on that playlist, because there's one that goes around called Chill
Yeah.
Pill by Mango. They go around a
Yeah.
lot messaging, do you want to pay to be on our playlist? You know,
Yeah.
see if there's other people on that to see whether it's actually worth paying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just advise to be careful
Yeah. I
because you
mean,
don't
it's.
want to have your top fans as 60-year-olds from Vietnam.
I mean, maybe this guy was like, I don't know. He found some sort of like sweet deal in some old people's home in Thailand.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
It's like
they're
all the old ladies in the old people's home had like a
they.
designated Spotify account. It's like, play this guy.
Yeah,
He's gonna help
exactly.
you relax.
Oh man, that was a real tough
Oh,
time.
oh
But yeah,
God.
there are. I think
Yeah,
the to kind of summarize, there are no
yeah,
cheats to music.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
cheat your way to the top because
Or,
it's not
yeah,
genuine.
yeah. Well, let's just say this. I agree with what you say, and
Mm.
I'm gonna add to there might be cheats, but what goes around comes around eventually. You know,
Yeah,
you cannot like um, it will just come around eventually because it's like people are gonna. I mean, I think we covered that before. Like people love people getting fucked, especially they love seeing people getting fucked. They love the drama, they love the
yeah,
controversy, they just love shit. So, especially if you start getting into ahead of the rest of the pack, you know, if you're more successful and you get fucked, people will
yeah,
enjoy that even more.
yeah.
So, you don't see anybody trying to poke holes in me or you or anybody else because we just don't give like we
No,
don't matter. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but when a guy like, for example, Kevin Hart, it was his fucking dream to host the Oscars,
yeah,
right? And then as soon as he got the gig, he got canceled because of a homophobic tweet from 10 years ago. And
yeah,
we all know that how we talk with our friends, like, and you can say that word or whatever, but taking things out of context. And then what I'm getting at is like everybody loved to see him fail because he was
yeah.
getting there. So that's why I think what we said earlier to sum up the summary. Nobody, it didn't make sense that somebody would try to do that to Rohan.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
it's you're not part of you're not even competition, man. You know what I mean? In
yeah,
the sense of like, why would anybody bother with you? Like, why would anybody bother with any of us? Because the
no,
whole lo-fi
exactly.
thing, it's like it's fucking, as the French say, it's cacahuete. It's not. It's
Caca.
peanuts. Yeah, I mean, it has the word caca in it. What do you expect? It's peanuts. Like
Yeah,
nobody really gives a fuck about us, so it's fine. But yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to add, like in this whole Inquisition thing that we're talking about, is that you want to release with the label, the best thing that you can do, and this is what I also said to a lot of people in the beginning that they would start asking like question after question. I was like, look, I didn't have a document back then to share. I wasn't that smart. I said, you can, don't take my word for granted. You can talk to Aaron, John, Francesco, blah, 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 anybody else who released with me. And
Yeah.
they can share from the same level, the artist level with you, the experience. Like, what is Paul like? What is the label like? What do they
Yeah.
do? Like, whatever. So you can talk to them. And after you have like some sort of an idea, because at the end of the day, but I think people don't do it for the sake of hastiness. And this is like, oh, I really want to get my fucking music out there, man. I have to get it out right now. It's like, chill, dude. There's like, I don't know, there's like fucking 1,000 lo-fi tracks released every day. It's okay. You can wait a little bit more.
Yeah.
Take your time, maybe you need a couple of weeks to talk to people, whatever. Like it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not that you're gonna, let your millions of fans down.
Real talk.
You might have millions of streams, but your fans are in the thousands, bro. So.
Yeah. Or in my case, definitely not in the thousands, even though it says it does.
Are you still? Oh yeah, because you have the fake followers.
Yeah.
Alert.
What am I sitting at? 1,868 followers.
Dude.
And I think 800 of them are fake.
Dude. Because we pay our due diligence, right? And we pay our respects. And to be the devil's advocate here for Rohan, from my boy Rohan. If these followers were fake, I mean, Spotify, I think the past 2 years have done, they do a purge every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that shit was like, I mean, if it's fake, it must be that good fake.
Yeah.
To not go away. Because I think even like in the last purge that happened, I even lost some followers. I think, how much was it? I think about 100 or something. 80. It was a number between 80 and 100. It wasn't 100. I think it was like 80, 90 anyway. So I did lose some as well there. But you had a bunch of like, I think, major artists like, I mean, we all know the label by now. Justin Bieber lost like a couple of million or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, what? But yeah, hey ho.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying there. Like, if it was bad, they would be gone by now. And okay, great, but I don't. It would be nice if even 10% of the 1,859 followers were listening to my stuff on Release Radar, and they're not.
Exactly. Yeah,
so I think this is like. There.
It's like you have a lot of inactive in this 1,800. You have a lot of inactive followers there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah. That it's like, the analogy is like even it's more than it should be. You know what I mean? So.
And I think like as I even said in my messages back to him, which I put on my Twitter, like he's taken stuff from me that I can't ever get back. I can't really sit and celebrate hitting 2,000, which I'm probably going to do within the next couple of months because I know that half of that are from this whatever happened back last year. So it kind of bums me out. Like I get the little email from Spotify, like, oh, you've got 1,500. I'm like, yeah, but have I really? But yeah, let's move on to something else. Because actually what I had planned, well, before all of this kicked off last week, I did have plans to talk about daily playlists.
Yeah, I remember.
While we're talking about services and stuff.
Yeah, submit hub daily playlists.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a, not necessarily a rant about daily playlists, but they announced that they were putting out a subscription. You could pay, I think early bird is like $3 a month to have access to some of their more exclusive features. And I was a bit like, because even though I've had some, I guess, valuable playlist placements from daily playlists for the most part, it's a lot of of smoke and mirrors, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I saw this like turn pro several times, and because I'm a legitimate company, there's a lot of shit that I can expense. So for when it comes to me, like that stuff is like business expenses, and that like the 299 or 599 is not as damaging. And I thought to myself, maybe I can check it out for like half a year or something.
Yeah,
It's nothing too crazy. However, I wasn't, how should I say, I didn't see any benefit
yeah,
from the features they offer in the sense of what I would expect. And I have privately messaged them on Instagram is that I would expect some tweaks in the existing setup. Or if this was like part of the pro, I would have considered paying for it in the sense of like some sort of like a filtering in the submissions. Because the newest to oldest thing is not really helping me a lot.
yeah,
I said at some point, I don't know, I'm talking to some guy who's managing, whoever manages their social media or Instagram. And I said, I would like, for example, to be able to go to one of my playlists and deal with the submissions on that playlist. Just that.
yeah. Okay.
Instead of just having this like endless scroll of shit that um, if you stay on the top of the page and you start like accepting, dismissing stuff, and it comes to an end, then you need to, I mean, that's the experience that I get. And maybe that's like bad UX, bad UI, whatever. Like I have to refresh my page to
Yeah,
see the new submissions. But if I leave, let's say 4 or 5, and then I scroll down, then it shows me the rest, it generates the rest, which I found a little bit stupid. Like, yeah. And if you scroll, because the way that I use it, like I will just go in, I would start scrolling forever to get enough, basically, and go through them.
yeah,
And the more you scroll, after like I think the first 20 interactions you have with tracks, whether you dismiss them, whatever, the whole fucking thing gets laggy. Like, and
yeah,
I try to use like 4 different browsers. I mean, and shit is bad when even in the Brave browser, it goes caca. You're like, fuck, like, come
yeah.
on. But yeah.
So you're
So yeah,
talking from
no,
more of a curator aspect, like
yeah,
sorry.
curator aspect. Like, I think from the artist aspect, I'm extremely disappointed in the sense of I think I've submitted so far. I mean, not gonna lie, I'm submitting a lot in the sense of
Yeah,
like not all the releases, but at least one release per week. Keep it relatively
yeah,
okay. And I would submit it to. I'm not just gonna blindly submit it to the people who are in the top. I'm just gonna go through the playlist. There's some people that I like. There's some people that I don't like. So I'm just gonna submit it to the people that I want, and I would go maximum 10 playlists. Nothing too crazy. And of course, I'm not gonna go for the big ones all the
yeah,
time. Like fuck it. Um, 0 out of 0. It's a big fat zero. Like none of the shit gets accepted, and it doesn't matter if it's even me accepting. Speaking again
yeah,
from my super high horse. Like, you know who I am, bro.
yeah.
Like
Fucking hell.
it seems like I think you mentioned this in the past as well. It's like people just go in, it's like dismiss, 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 click, click, click,
Yeah,
click, 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 and that's it. This is what happens because there's no benefit. Like you get a fuck ton of people just follow your playlist blindly. But even if you don't accept their track, this is what I would suggest to daily playlists in the sense of like, if a track gets submitted,
yeah.
and in order for you to submit it, you need to follow blah blah blah, and then it doesn't get accepted, everything should be retracted. But
No,
I don't.
that's a good point because yeah, what you're getting at is the fact that people are just using it to grow their playlist.
Yeah,
They don't care about the people submitting. They're just
no,
clicking. Yeah,
no.
no,
And
absolutely.
and everybody gets fucked. Like even for somebody like me and you who do care about the music that we curate, we just go into the same fucking pot with everybody else who just wants to, grow their playlist. Because,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I I have a couple of big playlists, and I'll be happy to get people there that deserve like some more attention. But whether I accept them or not is the same shit. Like I could be like in like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what I went to them with, because I put some stuff out on Twitter and they were like, "Oh, send us an email and we can talk." And I'm like, "Okay." So I popped them an email and was just like, "Look, I understand the reason why you're doing it, because for as long as I can remember, you got, daily playlists has been free. There's been no ads, there's been no kind of paywall. It's been very much just a free service. So I get the bigger that they get, they need to pay for the servers, they need to support their team, blah 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 blah. But so they've done two things. They've introduced the ability to buy more credits, which I get. It's still a bit pricey for the amount of credits that you get, especially compared to like Submit Hub.
Yeah.
But the subscription, it basically gets you on two things. And the first is their smarter submission feature, which apparently you put a track and they take all of the work out of submitting. They go to the ones that are most active and most likely to accept. That in itself seems decent, but which I'll get to in a sec because I have their emails. They kind of overestimated the amount that people would take up, and they're having to essentially rework it all before they roll it out.
Okay.
The second thing is access to their Track Explorer, which is essentially a page that just has a lot of Spotify like embeds, and essentially, you can go and click through. So I was just like, look, straight up, like, what's the deal? I get that you have to pay, that you have to earn a living, but how much is this going to be beneficial to artists? And they basically were saying that we need to implement monetization to run the site. They didn't want to go down the route of premium submissions like Submit Hub and Playlist Push, and they feel like it's a more fairer approach. So I was like,
well, to be quite honest, the Submit Hub business model is scalable. It's successful. It's working.
Yeah.
So fair or not fair, I definitely understand the fact that I think they underestimated what you said. They underestimated the amount of people who will jump on it. I think they could have made the price. They could have just stayed in this $5 a month.
Yeah.
Because, and I think this is like another subject that we can talk about is like, me as a curator, I'm happy to give a chance to somebody that does not have the audience or the proper channel to share his music if it's good, if it's really good, or according to my subjective music preferences, of course. But when you don't even want to spend $1 on yourself, you're essentially asking something for nothing.
Yeah.
Which I get it. I mean, I've done it for the most part of my life. I still do it. I even know a lot of producers who, they make music for the fun of making music. Not, fuck the money or whatever. It's fun. But when it comes to, curating something, I'm pretty sure that everybody knows by now that this has become, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Like there's so much fucking music and everybody's working their ass off on their music, but curators are, or let's say some of us, also trying to bust our ass and make sure that at the end of the day, I definitely have a quota and I can only, review and listen to that much music.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I don't have a personal life, even though there are people like that too. But fuck it, man. Like, I really hate the fact that I have to say no to this guy and say yes to that guy, because that guy sent me like 3 tracks and I've already accepted one the past week. And this guy sent me one, but it's really good. So I really want to give him the chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks balls. And because we're human, after that, we just think to ourselves, like, what do I make out of that? It doesn't have to be necessarily money, but if you're in a platform that offers this sort of like monetization model, then fuck it. So if you as an artist won't spend a fucking dollar in what you do because I don't know, you don't trust your music that much, whatever. It's like basically you're asking something for nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's yeah. I think there's a lot more thought that needs to put into from all these services out there, especially daily playlist or Schmaley playlist or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Submit Hub solved that problem already. So you just need to walk on an existing solution more or less, and you can sprinkle your personal take on it.
Yeah. I think I mean I have my own thingies with Submit Hub, especially based on a campaign I did last week, which wasn't even on my own music.
Okay.
And again, my intentions were different compared to what I would do with my own stuff. And I found so basically with our last label release, it was a lot more kind of like bedroom pop, synth pop type stuff, less lo-fi. And what I wanted to do, because it's more substantial than an instrumental lo-fi track, was to get it in front of people that would, I guess, more share their opinions than add it on a playlist. So I was pitching to like blogs and, blogs and websites and stuff. So things like Ear Milk, Fashionably Early, a couple of other ones like that. And, very specifically trying to get coverage of the music itself rather than an addition on playlist. And one thing that I found was that of all of the ones that we submitted to, I mean, we got one half accept. Apparently you can do that on Submit Hub now. You can half accept a track. So they did that and put it on a SoundCloud playlist, which, I'm not going to
shout out
hand
stuff?
their feeds. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
But the rest of them, they all declined. But it wasn't even a compliment sandwich. It was like, it's good, but it doesn't fit the vibe. Keep up the good work. I kind of felt like what they were doing was they were just scraping the barrel for excuses to say no. A lot of it was like, this is a really good track, love the vibe, love the vocals, love the flow, but the snare was too loud or something. Or like, the drums were a bit repetitive. And I don't know, maybe this is me being a bit butthurt, but I think I can be subjective to that feedback based on with it not actually being my own track. That I don't know, it just felt like, because I know the way that Submit Hub works and that, people can earn a living from Submit Hub.
Yeah.
It felt to me like they were just finding any reason possible to say no, because they still get the money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I kind of came away a bit bitter based on that. And, like I say, it wasn't my track. It's a track that we have faith in because our label released it. But I don't know. I just kind of felt it to be a bit cack. I mean, let me grab a couple of the... where are we? Oh, I have to log in.
I hope we're not deviating from the subject you wanted to address. Like, sorry, I threw in Submit Hub, and it's like it's a whole podcast in itself, like Submit Hub.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I just wanted to quickly. So we did. Here we go. Let's try this one. So the track had some cool elements. It was a close call, but it just wasn't connected with it enough for placement. Has an interesting, strange vibe and genre mash kind of feel to it. It's a unique record, but I'm not wild about the rap all the way. Has a cool, quirky vibe to it, but just not hitting me 100%.
Yeah. I mean, how should I say? I always like, I get all this kind of like feedback. I think that's the main reason why I stopped submitting stuff on Submit Hub on artists' behalf, because it's distracting in the sense of like I would always get this feedback with a pinch of salt. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like the same way that I said in the beginning, like subjective musical preferences. Yeah, like it's I definitely can see through whether something is like a canned response.
Yeah,
like the one that I send a lot on Submit Hub. You know that. Or something like that's like more genuinely like a constructive critique. I've tried this like several times, and me being an avid user of Submit Hub, or let's say curator on Submit Hub the past 2.5, 2 years. Um, I had to choose between the lesser of two evils, and that was like I chose like the more or less canned response
Yeah,
because every time that I honestly took the fucking time and to provide a little bit of like numbers for the people who are like in the chat as well, is like I would get over the weekend, I would get 40, 40 submissions. I'm doing like the past couple of months, I'm doing weekend mode in the sense of like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for me are I'm unavailable to submit her because I I I would have taken one extra day as well, but you can only like take out 3 days.
yeah,
Um, and I try to listen to the full track. Like sometimes,
yeah,
you cannot really skip through it because this affects your uh, credibility as a
yeah,
curator, which is really great that they implemented something like that because in the beginning there was a lot of people who would like just listen for two
yeah,
seconds and then just cut you off. So I do listen for more than 1.5 minutes, and I would just try to provide like genuine feedback, like, oh, the frequencies there, maybe you should do that or whatever, or try
yeah,
this out or tone down the vinyl crackle, um, because it's overshadowing everything else. You don't need compression for your kicks, or your snare really slaps. And I guess, constructive critique
yeah,
in a way. Try that in the approach of like, try that and see how that works for you, not in the approach of, if I were you, I would blah blah. No, 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 no. Like, try this, try that. Have you considered this or that?
yeah,
And I would get like, people would be like, fuck you, bro.
yeah.
Give you like a 1 star review or whatever. Not that I give a fuck, because Submit Hub is not the real world.
No, 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 no.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, I totally
Um,
understand that, you can only, and as well, I think this is a fault of Submit Hub. I know, it's good that they are encouraging their curators to listen to more of the tracks, but they've also kind of made it so that if you accept more than an X amount of percent, I think it's like 10%, that also has an effect on how highly rated you are as a curator. And I
yeah.
think they've kind of now fostered this environment for curators where they have to be picky, like insanely
Yes.
picky, in order
Yes.
to stay valuable. They have to,
Yes.
listen to all of the track. Which, yeah, that's great for all of us that maybe have a slow build into something that's like insanely
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
I think because of all of these little badges that they've now awarded all of their curators, they've
Yeah.
fostered this environment where stuff could genuinely just get missed out because
Yes.
you know
Yes.
for that month, oh, okay, I've hit the threshold of like 8% accepted, so
Yeah.
the rest
Yeah.
of them are just going to go in the bin.
Yeah.
um and yeah, it's a bit sucky, but
It
that's
is.
just
It
what I
is.
think about Submit Hub. I think a lot of these platforms where curators can make money
Mm.
are kind of sus. I mean, well, not sus. So I used one a little while ago just to try it out, called Muso Soup. I don't know if you've seen that one.
What's it called?
Muso Soup.
Yuzu soup. I don't like soup, so I guess.
And again, this one was trying to connect you with playlisters, blog
Yuzu
writers,
soup.
tastemakers, etc., etc.
Okay.
And to begin with, you have to pay 20 quid to start a campaign. I was like, that's fine, 20 quid. That
Okay.
could
Yeah.
go
Sure.
places.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great until I
It
then
wasn't.
realized that, yeah, it was great until I realized the curators then offered you two tiers to accept your music. The first was a
Oh.
free tier, which was like a shout out, all of that crap. The second one
Yeah.
was to then pay an additional fee on top of that
Yeah.
20 quid you've already spent to
Yeah.
get the stuff that you actually wanted, whether it was
Oh.
blog coverage, playlist
Okay.
feature. I
Okay.
don't know whether you've seen the Lo-Fi Avatar playlist that I think Eldre's on and talks about a lot.
No.
That's on Muso Soup, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'll let you have free for 3 days, or
Mm.
you can pay, $20 to be on the
For a
playlist
month.
for a month." Yeah, and
Okay.
I was like, "All right, well, fuck it, I'll try the free for 3 days." Granted, the playlist did give some good streams in those 3 days, like
Okay.
some pretty decent streams. Um, but I think the whole fact that I had to pay 20 quid just to get my campaign on there, to then
Yeah.
just be met with all of these curators that were like, yeah, we want to feature your
Yeah.
stuff, but pay us even more. It was a bit
Yeah.
fucky. So that's why I kind of, with this whole daily playlist thing, I was really just digging into them
Yeah.
in the emails and just being like, look, tell me more
Yeah.
about all of this. So I wanted to see, their track explorer. What exactly, is that beneficial for someone to pay $6 a month? Is it beneficial for them to get their stuff on there? And I think the idea for their track explorer is that people can get feedback in return for credits. So they can just go through a bit like Submit Hub, but not being submitted to you directly. You can just go and browse through all of the tracks and then play it, and then you can write some feedback and get credits in return. They apparently said that Track Explorer has been seeing great feedback. One track has been placed on there for 8 days and has seen 80 reviews, with mentions of being added to playlists and saved into personal libraries. And then going back to what I mentioned about their smart submissions thing. So the idea of that feature was that it takes all the pain of submitting to all of the tracks on daily playlists. You just submit it to them, and they use their algorithm to determine which ones are more likely to accept you, and then it will automatically submit your track to them. But they said that in the end, they were processing over 16,000 tracks.
Yeah.
And the tool wasn't built to handle
Cool.
that many tracks, so they had to pause it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this goes back to the it's the classic case study, I believe, with where technology in general is getting at, in the sense of like something comes along, like let's say a website like Submit Hub, or like where it has a lot of curators, and they try to foster some sort of like an environment and a culture, and at the same time trying to keep the business profitable, because we needn't forget that we're talking about commercial companies. Like, you have to make a profit, whether you're like daily players, whatever. There's like a lot of costs involved, not just server costs, but also for the people who are behind it. Like, it has to, it's not a startup that they need to, it is kind of like a startup, but the difference is like they're not going to run to an angel to secure funding.
Yeah.
They do it through their user base, and it makes sense. However, like, I just find it a lot less of these services are, coming across as, or they come out straightforward and say, you know what, we run the service, we have costs for 1, 2, 3 things. We need to have some sort of like a subscription fee to keep up. I think in my timeline of lo-fi stuff, the only service that I actually saw doing that is Fortunes, which is an app. And they said, you know what, guys, it's a free thing, but this has to be scalable. It has to make sense. There's so much data, so much traffic. We need to update this and that. There's a subscription. And I was like, fuck yeah. It's an app that works for me. Of course, I want to support the developer. I've been doing this for fucking icons on my Android device. Like, if I see a good icon pack and it's like $2, I'm going to fucking support the guy, because he busted his ass to make like 3,000 icons for you. So the least you can do, again, is like pay a little bit and not keep this sort of like something for nothing approach. What I see all of them failing, and this is not like bad critique for them. I mean, I don't have the solution to the whole playlisting, curating things. And even if I do, I'm not going to publicly say it. I'm just going to fucking implement it myself, probably with you, throw the idea to you and like, figure shit out.
Yeah.
So, and then make a fuck ton of money out of that. You heard it here, folks. And anyway, it's there's a lot of music that's been produced every day. It's been released, and there's a lot of good music that it's been also produced. So there used to be a time, with every, let's say, genre or whatever, when it first starts, there's like, 9 out of 10 stuff that you listen to is just like garage band sound, and then some weird shit happening on top. It's like, yeah, fuck no. Now there's been like days there's been weekends that I would get, 40 submissions on Submit Hub, let's say, and figuratively speaking, numbers like, let's say 100 submissions, and 80 would be really good, would
Yeah.
be would be in my personal preference. And I'd be like, fuck. And then
Yeah.
immediately as a curator, you're faced with a Submit Hub rule that says, oh, if you have more than 8-10% acceptance, then you're not considered so cool because you just accept everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's not my problem that everything sounds fucking awesome. Like, maybe these motherfuckers figured out what I want to hear, and they make it now. Fuck. Which again falls in another shitty loop of, why would you need to make music to satisfy me? Like, just do it for yourself, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a clusterfuck of like, it's a weird, it's a vicious circle of shit. Like, so my what I'm getting at is that it's not so scalable anymore because there's a lot of good music out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. There's more, at least in the genres that we're dealing with, or what, I can consider more stuff than just lo-fi. Like, I would love to venture to, synthwave or retro wave or like lo-fi house or cyberpunky shit that I like myself. Again, personal preferences. But these motherfuckers are making a lot of it, and good.
Yeah.
A lot of the good shit. And I'm like, fuck, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, I feel bad turning people down now.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I do my playlist updates every Monday because I like to give people the weekend, and holy shit, like, I'm getting 40 to 50 a week. And sometimes some of the stuff is just like mind blowing. And then other times, it's not as great. But, like you said, the bar is constantly getting like pushed higher and higher and higher and higher and higher as time goes on. And, as these producers that come along, like, I guess I call them like overnight producers, they'll come out and then they'll all of a sudden have a track on, chill beats or something. They're once again, they're pushing the bar even fucking higher. And yeah, it's great to see, and I absolutely applaud that more than anything. But at the same time, it's like, oh, give me some room. But again, this goes back to everything that we've been saying at least once, an Instagram Live or Instacast, as we're calling it, is that, that success needs to then transform into, fans, which it doesn't in the lo-fi genre.
It's not a real thing, man.
No, it's not
fans?
A real thing.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
No, fuck fans. You just need playlists.
Yeah, but I mean, on your thing of like starting playlists that aren't necessarily lo-fi, like, that's something that I've been kind of teetering with my I've got a weekend electro chill playlist, which is more sort of like down tempo, minimal electro, and I'm accepting submissions for that as well. But it's hard when you're then sitting there listening to like 50 tracks of lo-fi, and then you get maybe this one track that has been submitted to that playlist, and it can kind of throw you for a loop. You can get really like, imagine if you accepted submissions to all of those different playlists as well. You just had a complete mixed bag of like lo-fi, synthwave, techno, house. You'd lose your mind.
I know. I don't know. It's really like, I think it's basically like with everything else, or let's say new technology or whatever, we're really venturing into unexplored territory. Like, we've never been there before. All this shit is like new because it just happens now. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna evolve in the next couple of years. I do definitely have a couple of ideas in my head. I think, and of course, I'm not going to say them publicly. One we have already discussed on Discord, and you're supposed to be helping me with that, finding certain someone, if you remember. Like, is it
I
going to
want
be
to say
like
yes. You
to
might
say
have to
yes?
remind. You might have to remind me. I've
Yeah,
slept
yeah, yeah.
since then.
Yeah, I will DM you on Discord.
Okay.
So, um, and I definitely want to see that, you know, work. And I think that would be the way, in the sense of like um, becoming a little bit more independent.
Yeah.
I think it falls within the plan of what we were preaching in our previous lives, that you have to work on your thing. Like, you shouldn't put too much effort and weight on all this fucking shit that's happening, because I think it's just temporary. It's like a sign of the times. Like,
Yeah.
today Submit Hub, tomorrow is going to be something else. Tomorrow is going to be something else. It's usually when something good comes out and it works, you immediately see 10, 50, 100 clones doing
Yeah.
the same thing. Especially now, where with this fucking internet thing, that we're like so connected, and you even fucking see TikToks with douchebags talking about, oh, like, you're retarded and you have like no skills or whatever. This is how I made $70 in a day. Go
Yeah.
there. I mean,
You wait until we start rehashing Sunday roast content for TikTok.
yeah, yeah, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I got, I don't know, I got triggered last night, because I kind of like, I'm not trying to activate or reboot my TikTok, whatever. I just said I would just start uploading the reels that I upload on the release reels that I upload on
Hmm.
Instagram. I'm just gonna put them there as well, with, you know, no second thought. Upload, gone. That's it.
That's exactly what I do.
But it's a fucking, like, maybe you experienced that as well. Like, the first time that you would turn this thing on, it's a fucking black hole.
Yeah.
It just sucks you in. It's like you watch a TikTok after a TikTok. It's like, what the fuck is happening in my brain? Like,
Oh, I fully I'm that
and I
person.
was
Like,
like, no,
I will
no,
sit
this
there
is crap.
watching it for hours.
Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
It's
which is not, it's not good for your brain either, because like you're transitioning through so different subjects. Like, I think that I couldn't, I think that's the reason why I couldn't sleep last night. Like, I got subjected, dude, I got subjected to it for like, I think a good 45 minutes.
yeah.
I, I was just like, next thing I know, like, it was like, I think it was 12:30. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got some time to kill. Like, and maybe I can, you know, do some work, like update the website or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna chill here in my day bed or night, whatever. And just like, yeah, scroll
Yeah.
through it. Let's see what I can upload. A couple of reels, and I uploaded the reels, and then I'm like,
Content. Yeah.
content. And the next thing I know, like, I look at my watch, and it's like fucking, it's like one quarter past
Yeah.
one, like
I
one
think
thirty. I'm like,
once you get the algorithm to know like the stuff that you're interested in, you will be there for hours, like
yeah,
hours. Like,
yeah. It was
I'm on
like, what the
producer
fuck?
TikTok, like dog and cat TikTok. For some reason, I've been looped into ADHD TikTok. There's like the metal kid TikTok. Yeah, there's an area for absolutely everything. And once you know their algorithm is like spot on, like it will find stuff that you dig.
Dude, that shit is gonna eat you up and spit you
Oh, it
from
does.
the
I
other
think
end.
I
Like,
think
it's
I burn
fucking
out.
like,
Like the iPhone gives you your screen time for the week every Monday, and I think I'm putting something ridiculous in like 7 hours a week watching TikToks.
it's mind boggling. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I kind of like I feel my age. Like I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, I
Yeah,
cannot consume it. Like, my brain is like, it's reaching its capacity, you know? And I'm like, fuck it. It hurts my brain. But yeah, you know, it's necessary evil. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is.
I mean, if you
So
can
yeah.
play it right, like TikTok could be a massive platform for your music. Like the amount of people that have
Yeah,
blown
yeah.
up. You know, going back to El Dre, he was nothing until TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I saw when I logged in? I saw I had a couple of messages and stuff. And apparently, you chill,
Yeah,
you know who that is. They tagged me, and they actually have like a channel or whatever. So they would upload like a video with our music, and it's like I would get tagged. I was like, That's interesting.
Yeah,
Team of experts.
allegedly.
Yeah. We have to figure out what's what the phonetic, the vocal version of the different capitalization of that is.
Oh, that is allegedly.
How?
Team of experts. Yeah,
Oh my God. But yeah, nah, good vibes overall.
yeah.
Good thing my headache is off. I mean, I did take a pill half an hour before. I actually wanted to take it like a couple of hours before we start, so it kind of like kicks in. But then our little one was doing like a siesta, and she was kind of like waking up. So I went there and I just fucking died
Yeah.
for another hour and a half. And I was looking at it, I
No,
was like, oh, it's 1:15. Oh yeah. It's like,
about
oh,
halfway
it's
through,
quarter to one.
she did have a nice cameo. I think she got a recorder or something or a flute.
Maybe at some point. At some point, today was like pretty close of having a cameo. Like my
Oh, we could hear her in the background, the whistling.
was it
Yeah.
really? Oh, okay. Oh, these AirPods are really cool. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, I think I told you like the house that I'm living in is the fucking walls are paper.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody
You
farts in the
hear
living
everything.
room, I hear it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
It's the best kind of place to live in. Anyway.
I know, right?
It's been a good chat today.
Yeah, it's
We
been a good
didn't
chat. Yeah.
didn't jump
I
in and
think it's we're getting more and more serious with that shit, and we become more eloquent. Like we started off with a lot of trash talking, and
yeah,
now we have like proper discussions.
yeah. That's you fall into your groove, don't you?
We're gonna lose fans, man. We need to talk
No.
about shit though. No, you think?
No.
I,
I mean
I didn't. I didn't. Did you note down my Instagram follows
no, I
before?
didn't
So
this
we do
time.
the before and after.
No,
I
I
think.
didn't.
Let me see. I think I had.
No, we're going to get to a point where you're going to be gaining them. We're going to stop the trash talk. We're going to talk like
Yeah.
professionals.
We're professional team of experts.
Yeah, we're now in Civilization Type 1. We've gone past the Stone Age. We're now into into the Iron Age.
Yeah. Let's see. Now it's like I cannot get over that 9,900, man. It's fucking dead.
I
Like
think I
really
just
dead.
hit 1.5. Just as we're humble bragging.
Nice.
But
Happy
yeah,
for you. Happy for you, bro. Want to collab?
fucking hell. This is the bit where we try and wrap up and just start talking
Yes.
absolute garbage.
Yes. No, it's okay. Cool. Yeah. So it's been great. Thanks to everybody who's been
Yeah.
with us. It's been a slow start today, but we're talking about serious shit, people. So
Yeah.
hopefully there's going to be more controversy stuff. Feel free to send us your favorite subjects that we would like to talk about.
I'm just sad that
Subscribe.
Lo-Fi Jesus Revolution or whatever his name is hasn't
He's,
really done much.
He's been, yeah. I saw him, I think earlier on, he joined even the live.
Oh, did he?
Maybe he wanted to join with his real account, not that one.
Yeah,
he was just
accidental.
logged in with that one at the time. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I think he took a step back.
Do you know what? That would be a really interesting experiment actually if we did like a. In fact, oh god, should I? I have like a 16-minute mix video that I've put on YouTube. Should I just go and stick that on Pornhub and been like,
Dude,
60
definitely.
minutes of upbeat lo-fi to suck to or something?
Definitely.
See how it actually gets. Like, I find a
See how
hidden
that-
pocket of people that just want to watch. Well, there was
think-
there was that guy that uploaded a load of videos of him doing really wholesome things,
Where?
and he got really
On
popular
Pornhub?
on Pornhub. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Wholesome stuff.
he uploaded things like point of view getting home to your boyfriend, and then he just like gets up off the sofa and he's like, "Hi, how was your day?"
Oh.
Or like boyfriend hugs girl after a long day at work or something, and it was just wholesome. Like, oh, here you go.
I mean, even the most expert hardcore wanker masturbator needs a break every now and then. So you
Exactly.
might as well stay in the platform, just watch the wholesome stuff, whatever. And then when you build up the urge to whack it off again, you just go for it. So
Exactly. Maybe we could offer that sort of
niche.
like,
It's niche.
yeah,
I
that
mean, I
lo-fi
would
break.
definitely show my bum hole for OnlyFans with like, I don't know, 100 quid.
That's not much. 100 quid's not a lot.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of people who want to see my bum hole. So even if it's like 10 of them, dude, that's an easy 1,000 for a picture
True.
of my ass. And
True.
is it gonna be my ass?
No, now you're telling everyone the secret sauce.
Dude, there's not gonna be any sauce on it, that's for sure.
Oh,
You cannot unsee that now.
no. Nice,
Yeah,
clean shaven
exactly.
butthole.
Oh, there we go. Already, we got like Saturn, like Saturn J marking. It's like, yeah, take my money. There we go. We got two. That's like
Look,
already
there's
200
$200.
squid, dude.
Yeah.
No,
Dang.
I said pounds. I said
Oh,
quid.
even better.
Fuck. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're onto
Dipshit is gonna
something.
be on it, dude. We're definitely on something. Like, come on.
I could do
But
like a cameo as well. Like, oh look, we're doing it. Oh god, this is getting weird now.
yeah.
Sign up to our OnlyFans because we're going to do a collaboration.
Yeah, guys, that's the last podcast here. Next up, it's gonna be OnlyFans.
Yeah.
If you want to see that, more of that, you gotta pay for this shit.
Yeah, exactly. No, we
Nah.
to be fair, we
We're
still
good.
need to discuss whether we're pushing over to YouTube as well. But that's for another time.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Great chat. Thanks everybody again for tuning in. If you missed it, you're gonna watch it on IG Live and
Yeah, IGTV.
on YouTube.
You were right the first time.
Courtesy of my amazing friend Aaron, who's doing all the chopping up and exporting and whatever.
Yeah. Though you should
Baller.
before you close it, make sure to
Yeah.
check whether you can actually save it on your phone, because
No,
that'd
this
be
one.
easier than.
No, this one is it's okay. The phone has been plugged in.
No.
It
I
has
meant like saving it to your camera roll, so then you can just send it to me rather than me having to download it using a sketchy Instagram downloader.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's how Instagram.
That'll be interesting.
Because
That'll
that
be
was the
interesting, 'cause
day.
this is like because this was like the first one that I'm actually doing on the iPhone. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I will see how the option is. Yeah. Let's see.
If not, I'll just use the downloader again. It's fine.
Yeah.
Either way, it takes fucking forever because each one's like 2 or 3 gigabytes.
I know. What the fuck? And
It's because we
especially this
talk
one.
for so long.
No, I think it's like the quality. I think now that this has been done on an iPhone, I think it's going to be bigger because the video quality is like really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So
Hopefully, our audio is the same as well. We'll see.
yeah. I mean, fuck it. What the
Yeah.
fuck? If this doesn't work, then that's going to be the last podcast. I can.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Is that actually how you're ending it? For fuck's sake.
Yes. Ta-ta.